Hello there. I am Dr. Jody Bayer, and we are going to cut this part, so we're going to do it again. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you America's top foundational health coach, Dr. Joe D.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Jody Bayer, and can you believe it? This is our last Mindset Monday. I told you that we'd have more in store in 2024, and we certainly did. And our last guest of the year, Eric Zehnder, is just living proof that we bring the best of the best. As my husband's now iconic quote says, when you're the best, people will feel you. And that belongs in Mindset Monday. It belongs in all six pillars of our health. Spiritual, number one, numero uno. Then we go to mental, that's Mindset Monday. Then we've got emotional, physical, financial, and then social. We've delivered people in just experts in their field in all six pillars. And I guess I forgot to introduce myself to you, but I think you all know me. I'm Dr. Jody Bayer by now, known as America's top foundational health coach. For over 48 years, I've been teaching, training, and supporting people in their health journeys. I'm honored to say when I had my private practice that over 35,000 of my client patients lost over 1.1 million pounds lost. But of course, January, call me Dr. Jody. The next pounds can be yours. But then when I unretired, thanks to my husband just saying to me, Jody, during the beginning of the pandemic, people need you. And then he said, just how much yoga are you going to do? Well, he hooked me. And of course, everybody has their excuses. Well, I can't. I didn't have a website. I didn't have this. I didn't even do anything to market myself because basically I made people well because I still have a website. I can make you well. I help people reduce their inflammation by weight loss, and I made babies naturally. That's what I did. So I gave the usual 57 excuses. So you might be saying, well, I'm going to start tomorrow. Or I'm going to do that. No, you're going to start today. You know why? Because as Les Brown says, it is necessary for only you can do what you were destined to do. Just do it like your life depends on it. Because at the end of the day, it does. Your life depends on you being your best and being the beauty that others see in you. And you will hear about beauty and the best, actually, this time from a man, the quote master himself, Eric Zehnder, who I'm just honored to say that yet another solo book is being published and featured now with Healthopedia Publishing. Who knew that I could get past my fear in my mindset of I've never marketed? Who knew that I could get beyond just, okay, this is an email. How do you do a radio show? How do you do a TV show? Or like today, you see a little green halo around me. Well, it's that time of year now, isn't it? Because frankly, the camera didn't work. Who knew? You can go over, under, around, and through. Who knew that this would all happen this year? Who knew that exactly 15 months ago, Dr. Jim, my teacher, trainer, guru would say to me, would you like to be my partner? And we did. We became partners with Healthopedia. Who knew that something magical could happen? So if it can happen to me and our mission to fruition, it can happen to you too. That's what I mean. Just go about it like your life depends on it, because it does. And I'm telling you, it does in so many ways. I'm so honored and privileged to say now we have a grand total of 7 sponsors in our Healthopedia network. And through all of these wonderful people, and yes, we're going to be going to New York City on Times Square. We're going to be featured on the billboard at Times Square. Who knew that 5 years ago, when I was going to be speaking on stage with Les Brown, I still needed my pictures with Healthopedia Publishing? No, it was with Ignite. I was just publishing my first book. And who knew that I could say when I posed and did that girl, there's my bat wings dress. Isn't that kind of fun? I went, that girl in the middle of Times Square. I said, that's the picture. And I turned around and I said, I'm going to be on that billboard. Who knew? Who knew? But our Heavenly Father knew that if they put this vision is put in your heart, then that vision can come to fruition. And that's just what Eric Zehnder has done with his life and his absolutely masterful quotes. So you're going to hear a few of them today. But before we do, I want you to hear from absolutely one of my dearest sponsors, because he is my partner, my guru, my trainer, Dr. Jim Marinakis. Dr. Jim has a performance institute. It's peak personal performance, and it works. See, everything that we've taught you these few months has worked, and we're going to get in to the daily routine. We're going to get into the process, the beginning of the year. So here's a teaser. And here is Dr. Jim from Personal Performance Institute, one of our proud sponsors on Healthopedia. Take a look, take a feel, take a listen.
The main reason I believe people's health is declining globally is because they don't do the things every day that they need to maintain themselves. They don't walk enough, they don't get enough nutrients, they accumulate way too much stress, they don't expose themselves to nature. They work under artificial lights that damage the rods and cones of their eye, their brain, disturb functions of their liver. Everybody wants to be free from disease, and they want to enjoy a long and happy life. At the Personal Performance Institute, we teach you how to do exactly that. It starts right in the beginning. The very first things you'll do, which are simple instructions, will improve your health, and they will make you feel better about yourself. Not believe that you feel better about yourself, but actually feel better about yourself. That's what the Personal Performance Institute can do for you.
And what the Personal Performance Institute can do for you is the same thing that Eric Zehnder's quotes have done for tens of thousands of people. Eric Zehnder, for 35 years, has just been one that has built things like the Zehnder Construction Company. Well, then in 2020, it morphed into Quantum River World. This hybrid world brings builders, bringing an interactive world within a world, uniting virtual world with a physical building. Kind of like I said, brick and mortar turned for me into click and order. But he talks about quantum intelligence. He's a master, but he is a master of quotes. We're going to be talking about education through quotation. He has written over 20,000 quotes. Can I say that again? 20,000 quotes. These presented in, like I said, this forum, Education by Quotation series, kind of like the master's version of Chicken for the Soul. Not only are these entertaining, but they're educating. They bring out the best with people. As Dr. Jim always said, AI is artificial intelligence, but AI doesn't bring the best out in people. What AI really is, as Dr. Jim has always said, it's artistic intelligence. And that's what Eric Zehnder brings to the world of quotation and what he's going to bring for our final episode of Mindset Monday. So welcome, Eric Zehnder, to Mindset Monday. It's just such a delight to have you here.
Hello, Jody. What are we going to begin with here?
We're going to begin with you. I hope, I just know that you built things for 35 years. Now you're building quotes 20,000. I think I want to begin with that mindset that must have been there, where you morphed from a very, very successful building and construction business. World renowned. Then it morphed into Quantum River. How did that happen?
My dad dad and mother came from farm roots. My dad from Minnesota and my mother from Kansas. And they went west while you could still go further west. And they came to a city called Huntington Beach, California. And at that time, this is one of the big oil wells cities in California. So oil wells, broken down ones and old ones everywhere. It's the 10th ugliest city in California, I think, or America. But they could see that the weather was fantastic. Like the way my dad said, he says, well, I was watching Minnesota, the Rose Bowl, he said, and I said to my mother, those people in California are wearing shorts and T-shirts, and we have 4 feet of snow. He says, when I get 18, I'm moving. And he did. He became a Marine. Then shortly after that, I was born in the Marine base at Camp Pendleton. But they came and they built. They only had 50 cents. Now watch this. This is the old story we've heard lots of times. They had 50 cents. They had 50 cents when they got married. They died being probably the wealthiest people in the city, which is the second largest city in Orange County, California. But they're dead. They died.
Story with that mindset. It was that mindset. So you took over the family business. You took over, and oftentimes that doesn't work. But I know that you made your mom and dad proud.
Well, it happened in a different way. Dad and I were 2 master builders, and we had 2 companies, both called Zehnder Construction. And that's how Dad preferred, so I would build my own company. But I realized, Wesley, it takes some time to tell these stories, but I was born with a love for language. So we have to give my mother credit here. My father taught me how to build. And he's the best builder around.
You have your 50% divine masculine, divine feminine. So that's.
But my mother, I loved to read. She taught me to read by age 3. She loved speed reading. But so I was like Mark Twain. I just simply loved language. I don't think that's something anybody made up. It was already a gift from God. But mother, I try to explain to people, I learned language not from a book and not from a computer, thank God, but from my mother. And when you would go back and forth, you get to touch beauty. You get to see your words cause laughter. You get to see emphasis, all these things that machines cannot do. And anyone who thinks that AI can do them is totally. If you want to know where your real root of art is, it's right there in your mother. In her very body, the central definition of art is, it's not a picture of a clipper ship, it's building a whole clipper ship. It's not a picture of a home, it's somebody who makes a home. Okay, art is the coordination of many parts to a beautiful whole, a beautiful work, a beautiful experience. That's art. Guess what? God made your mother to be that in her very existence. Her literally, she's not a weaker man. Her body works together to cause you to raise that up, and she did. She raised it up. So I would get up the rest.
She raised up this young man, because I'm looking at time. I want to move on through, because
sure.
Like I said, when we did your radio show, we could be on here for 2 hours. But so mother gave you that birth of language. You got the best of both worlds. How did Zehnder Construction then morph into the quantum world?
Because the world's going to go hybrid. Let me explain this. There will be not too long farther in the future, every house, every wall in a hotel, little toys will all have multimedia interfaces. Now, our mind our body is where our physical locale is, but your mind through these multimedia portals can go all throughout the world. They can be hooked up to networks, and not just, they could be for fun networks, but they could also be like where you go with your creativity to find the build out teams that can, consult on it, listen to it, mentor it, say, okay, now we're going to put this body to it. Okay, it needs this kind of. Now a builder knows that. So what you have in the world is all these kids who are very good at virtual building. Then you have my small business friends who are physical world builders. They don't know each other that well. When you put them together, you're going to find out we can build from the middle. We can build from the local. We don't have to be top down for the big government. There's just so many talented people. So what I tell the future is this. You'll get this, and I know we got time. The hybrid world is not a cyber world. A cyber world is one that swallows you. A
Yes.
hybrid world is one that says, no, human touch and tech, and tech at a touch. So you're going to have tech, but you've got to have real places. And we realized what that was called. We called it a quantum river port. And the heartbeat of it is mentoring. The heartbeat of it is there's something that three-dimensional people can give you. We are going to use the tech. Now, we queried 40 parents. If we made it a smartphone-free zone, would they back it? 100%. Everyone said, we need to send our kids where they meet real people, who they have a chance to share their ideas and work those ideas, and don't be frustrated like there's no one to help you. We have complete, there you go.
We've got to wheel this back now. So
Okay,
I want to focus in because your philosophy is vast. There is just absolutely, and I always say in this quantum world where time meets destiny, time met destiny for you. You went in because all of a sudden, well, you just said, well, I'm going to do this quote master, 20,000 quotes. Tell us in the next 3 minutes before our commercial break, how did you tap into your quantum, into your mindset, and absolutely do this amazing thing and create 20,000 quotes? That's incredible.
Well, how to say that in a few minutes, but listen, I always loved writing. Okay, so I'd already read thousands of books from my mother. Whenever we'd go on trips, I'd always go to a local bookstore. So so at age 16, my high school basketball team, I was excuse me.
Well, that's why we do live TV. We have puppy dogs. We have this, that, and the other. And I can truthfully say what I know about Eric, and he'll be back in just this one moment. It's amazing because he had this time where time met destiny, and he went in and he just became what I would say. And you did that so quickly. Like, I want to come into this where time meets destiny. You went in to this place. You had a 2-place venue and you just were absorbed in quotation. What was your experience in your mind with this?
Well, it was simple. Coach John Wooden's like a super famous coach, okay?
Right.
But he's not only the greatest basketball or college coach of all time, he happened to be the 5th greatest writer of quotes. So there was Ralph Waldo Emerson, Mark Twain, Benjamin Franklin, Will Rogers, and then Wooden. Well, when I heard him, I said, that's what I want to write. I had tried poetry, but I said, well, nobody talks in rhymes. I don't want to do poetry. Then I tried free verse, which was better. But I said, still, people don't talk like that. If I can write quotes like Wooden does, that you use for your teams, you use for relationships, I said, that's what I want to do. Now, I would go on to become trained in fundamental language theory, both at the University of California, Irvine, under Dr. Froman, and then at Yale. So I went from quotes to the fundamental language theory, but I always wrote in quotes. So I kept that up, and it's a daily thing. I actually said at 16, I want to be the greatest quote writer in the history of the world.
That was mindset. That was mindset. So you had this immersion situation in California. You had this immersion situation in my home state out in Yellowstone. I will say something about this. This is why I wanted you to come on and wind up with a bang our 2024 with Mindset Monday, because you are the epitome of this, where you didn't wait around, you just did it. Give us just a snippet of what that was like to have that immersion and come out in that quantum river field.
Okay, the best we can do, I think the single best story we can give right now is that in 2006, I felt called to go on a 40-day prayer and fast vigil. I spent a half of that time on the coast of California, up and down the coast. The other half, I went to the Grand Teton Mountains, just south of Yellowstone National Park, just north of Jackson Hole. Now, during this period, I was seeking the face of God. I wanted to know about 3 things. The Trinity. I said, why the Trinity? When some people say God, but I think the Trinity is right. Okay, why the Logos, which the great Greeks developed that name? What is it about the Logos that transcends everything? And then finally, quantum and Holy Spirit are connected. I knew I said, I bet quantum and Holy Spirit. Now, I wanted something to happen. Okay, it did. On the first day, I wrote 50 quotes. Now, why is that important? If I did 5 quotes in a month, you'd be lucky to be, good quotes. 50.
Sure.
Then it kept up 50, 50, 50, then
It's
100,
50.
So what happened is that the last day I wrote 500. Can you imagine that? 16 hours writing endlessly. Well, what I hit was a quantum river. I discovered a quantum river in the heart of nature, if you want to say it, the heart of God. I met the logos. I met the living word. Now watch, it's not just quotes. It's concepts. It's like a piano. It plays back to what you bring to it. Now, for the people here, because I want to give them the best they can, look at the acceleration from 5 quotes a month to 50 quotes in one day. Wow, what's that? Okay, that's super acceleration. Quantum means, among other things, singularly, suddenly, significantly. It means super acceleration, super expansion, super facilitation to complete everything. So imagine that we've got proof of concept. We wrote 4,000 quotes in 40 days. For comparison, only 2 people, Ralph Waldo Emerson and King Solomon, wrote as many as 4,000 quotes. It took them 40 years. We were able to condense 40 years into 40 days. Think what that means, that everybody can tap this river. We're about to have a golden age because the acceleration and transformation level is going to go so high. There it is. There, that's, I could tell you more, but there it is.
That is the quantum river. And it begins with education. This is why you're known as the education by quotation. And this is why we'll hear now from our second sponsor today, just an absolutely beautiful woman in my life. She's been doing this for 45 years, named Doria Cordova with Money and You. We have her latest Money and You. She only does it once a year in the wonderful place called the US of A, and it is right there in California, in San Diego. Listen and feel Dame Doria Cordova talking about that financial pillar called leverage.
Money and You is the longest running entrepreneurial, experiential, transformational training in the world. And we have been impacting the lives of over 200,000 graduates from over 85 countries since 1979. I am Doria Cordova and I own Money and You. And I would like to invite you to join us to the next program where you will have an opportunity to be with a group of people that will all be immersed in experiential games where you have an opportunity to clear any blocks that you may have to really creating wealth and doing good. But at the same time, learn the business success model, which really immerses you into a conversation about leverage. Leverage is key in creating wealth and doing good. And we have the results to show that this program works. People like Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Ben Cohen of Ben and Jerry's, and many others have attended this program and changed their lives and created new industry and are some of the most well-known change makers in the world. Thank you. Aloha. Bye-bye.
You see that pineapple bowl behind her? That is content, and it just overflows with everything. So go take a screenshot of that referral code. I only refer time and programs, best experiential thing I've ever done in my life. Join me in San Diego, California, January 15th through 18th. And now you're going to join us. What a way to start. Yes, start 2025 with a piece of Eric Zehnder. Talk about time meets destiny. Eric, I'm sitting on the couch as only Tony Doty can do. And he's got this phone, it's on speaker. And he said, here, I'd like you to meet Eric. Oh, I've got this phone here. Eric, it's nice to meet you on the phone. The next day, time meets destiny. And I'm so delighted to say that the next book that's going to be published by Healthopedia Publishing is Beauty and the Best. Eric, thank you for trusting Tony. Thank you for allowing me to bring some of your quotes to life with Healthopedia Publishing. It's really an honor.
Thank you very much. It's been exciting, isn't it?
It's very
the best in manifestation. One of the great principles we say is this: Like attracts like. Best
Yes.
attracts best. Less attracts less. I don't think there's a greater principle than that. Here's one thing we always say: the best is as far different from the good as the
Yes.
good is from the bad. Your hope is the true principled person pursues the best, not the good. If you do that, the creation is made by God to be something best. So
Yes.
if we do less, the creation holds back. But if you're playing at your best, not just your best, but the best the way God defines it, okay? Um, you'll hit that quantum river. So the river and the best are tied together. You're gonna hit it. And I'll say this: I tell people, yeah, I've written 20,000 quotes because I've been very diligent. But uh, that's like fish I caught. I caught in the river. The river's endless, and it has endless types of fish. It's a piano that plays back to what you bring to it. So my point is, the river is for everyone, and it's being revealed. It's
Yes.
just it's fabulous what's happening. It's
Well,
really fabulous.
and it's fabulous. And you'll be able to go, of course, to Healthopedia 365. You're going to be able to go many, many places. If you follow me on Instagram, Healthopedia 365, and Healthopedia on Facebook, you will get notifications, a 5-day countdown to Eric's book, Beauty and the Best. And as we said, it's going to be like chicken soup for the soul. The next one is going to be a collaboration between our 6 pillars of health and what you've done with the 70 quotes. Who gives you just 70 quotes after you meet somebody from the phone? Eric did. And it was just amazing that we took these 70 into 6 pillars, and it will be called the quintessential quotes for healthy living. And so you just wait. There are going to be many, many more coming out of this. But I want us, in our last remaining time, to just get a snippet. Give us a couple of quotes from Best. And then a couple of quotes
Sure.
from
Most people.
either way you want.
Oh, I'm okay. Most people do not do what is best. They do what they know best. People who take time to find out what is best and do it have miracle turnarounds, make great new fortunes, and they come up with game changers. I like that as well as anything. If you find out what is best, one of the most best in quantum are totally mixed. Okay, the quantum. One of the great theories of quantum is this: particular being only stands out to us because we have particular words for it. Otherwise, it recedes into the general background. It's there potentially, but we don't know it. We can't. So it is language. So when someone says to you a concept like pursue the best,
Yes.
all of a sudden your head says, well, wait a minute. That's now standing out to me. The language begins to stand it out to you. Now, there are invisible realms. So this is why quantum is changing everything. Standard science said, well, unless it's physical, it's not there. Well, you now know that's nonsense. There's all kinds of things in the quantum realm. Well,
Yes.
but how does it stand out? And the answer is you begin to have a word seed planted in you. The seed begins to cause that which was invisible to be visible. And by the way, heaven is a space, not just a place that we go to.
Yes.
So if you have the right words, you literally will be bridging heaven to earth.
And you having the right words, you're bridging that quantum. Give us a couple of your favorite beauty quotes. I just pulled this one because I just love it so much. Beauty is 1/3 of everything and the full flower of anything.
Yeah, I like that. And so beauty is how we keep every day from being every day. And
Yes. Say that again, because that one stood out over all the beauty quotes. Say it one more time.
Beauty is how we keep every day from being every day.
Yes.
And then I like this one for Jody and all of you. I think of my mother. Look, beauty to a novice is like a horse in a pose, and he's kind of a picture. He stands there, right? It's beautiful. Beauty to the experienced is how a horse runs its race. And I think for all of us, how we run our race becomes, as we get older, it's more important than just looks. But the looks will come with it because the vitality and the energy that comes from within gives health to your whole being.
Oh, absolutely. So
beauty is looking at your spirit. Look, there's the heart. And the person has the heart and the mind. The soul is where you learn to work with your body. But your spirit is, I want to build something. I want to be part of a greater story. I want to be a character who gets to live a greater story. That's what beauty does. Beauty says, you know what? I'm not just making you for, to do work. I'm not just making you even just to be a thinker alone. I'm going to shape you to be a character that's worthy of living a great story. That's beauty.
And you are a character, your humor, your wit, the Mark Twain, the Emerson, everything. As we conclude this time, I will say, well, frankly, time met destiny in your Quantum River experience. Time met destiny when Tony brought you into my life, into Healthopedia's life. There's Mark Twain, there's Benjamin Franklin, there's Emerson, there's Wooden, but guess what? We've now got the quotation master. And I can say that you are that beauty in your words. You're the full flower of everything. And frankly, the best is when you have a miracle turnaround. And it's going to happen because you're going to buy the book. You'll be able to go to Healthopedia 365 on Amazon, drjody.com. January 1st, it will be there. What a way to say that there was more in store in 2024, but then we had a way to thrive in 2025 because of you, Eric Zehnder. Give us one last quotation before we wind this up, please.
Well, NASA asked for a quote from me, okay? And it's up there. They put it in a time capsule on the moon about 6 months ago. And it's just this. If you want your creative people to reach stars, give them space.
And guess what? You've given us space here for us to grow and be more. Eric Zehnder, thank you from the bottom of my heart for trusting us as a publication company to bring out your beauty, your words with Healthopedia. Absolutely, time meant destiny, and I am so grateful. Thank you.
May the river be with you.
Yes, and that's great. And if the river was with us, did you feel him? Because when you have the best, you can have miracle turnarounds. So as you close the door from 2024 and go into that leap from do it with the quantum, do it with Eric Zehnder, do it with the best, because when you are the best, people will feel you. So like I've said, have a wonderful, wonderful new year. Be back on January 6th, as that's the week that Dr. Needy Solomon will be debuting her second book, Naked Health. Let's just get naked with our physical health and just be beautiful with beauty and the best. Who knew that we would have back-to-back book launches? But who knew? Our Heavenly Father knows. He knows what is in your heart. You know what's in your mind. You know what's in your emotions. You know what's in your physical body. You know what you want to have in January, starting 2025. Then make it so that you can have a social impact like amazing, iconic, humble figures that have just been through it, because time met destiny with Eric Zehnder, and we have now met him. So your soul will be thanking you for the rest of your life, because when you're the best, people will feel you. So, as we always say, with each and every day, make it a Healthopedia kind of way. Ciao for now. Well.
Woman up, 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 up.